It's probably fair to say that fishermen get to experience more wildlife than most of us do. Spending long hours out at sea, a person is bound to catch a glimpse of any number of sea creatures. However, one team of Russian anglers must have got the shock of their lives when they spotted a dog floating in the ocean. The group of fishermen had been sailing in the Okhotsk Sea in Siberia when they made the bizarre discovery. This particular body of water lies at the far east of Russia and shares a border with Japan. The climate of that region is described as subarctic, and air temperatures here can plummet to -8 degrees Fahrenheit during the winter. Indeed, the Okhotsk Sea is the coldest in East Asia. Water temperatures here don't differ much from those in the Arctic. In fact, the sea temperatures here can be as low as 30 degrees Fahrenheit. In these conditions, a person would only survive 15 minutes before succumbing to the cold and losing consciousness. Furthermore, during the winter months, the sea becomes even more treacherous and problematic for sailors to pass through. With the Amur River providing an influx of fresh water, diluting the salt water and thus raising the sea's freezing point, many large ice floes form. These conditions make the Okhotsk Sea one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. With that in mind, the fishermen probably didn't expect to see anything but frozen blocks as they passed through Magadan port that winter's day. However, as they looked out over the water, they could make out a dark figure. There seemed to be something stuck out on the water. As they got closer to the port, the fishermen realized that the black dot was in fact a dog. Surreal images of the moment showed the animal floating on a piece of ice out at sea. They had no idea how long it had been there, but the creature was naturally shivering in the cold. Seemingly unaware of the peril it was in, the pooch sat calmly on the small frozen platform, and as the fishermen came within meters of it, the animal was dwarfed by their humongous trawler. Footage of the incident shows the boat bobbing precariously in the rough waves as the helpless dog looks on. It's unknown exactly how the pup ended up in this predicament. One theory is that it wandered too close to water's edge, its weight on the ice causing a segment to detach from the mainland and drift out to sea. It was estimated to already be 20 feet offshore by the time the fishermen spotted it. However, one thing was for sure. If no one did anything, the dog would soon die of hypothermia. And as if realizing that the fishermen were his only chance of survival, the dog managed to muster up a few barks to catch their attention. Without hesitation, the sailors leapt into action. Taking a huge risk, one crew member jumped over the side of the vessel and into the freezing waters below. Then he began to swim towards the trapped dog. Meanwhile, his colleagues watched from the boat as he made the dangerous journey. Clearly a strong swimmer, the fisherman was able to reach the dog in little time. The crew then attached a line to the block of ice the dog was sitting on. Just as they might do with a fish, the men began to reel in their catch. Seemingly impervious to the biting cold conditions of the sea, the kind fisherman stayed with the dog as his friends pulled them together. His crewmates had to carefully reel in the pair as they had no idea how strong the ice floe was. After what must have felt like a lifetime, the rescue team managed to get the dog to the foot of a set of ladders attached to the ship. Then the heroic fisherman accompanying the animal clambered onto the side of the boat, but it seemed that the dog was too nervous to follow. However, on closer inspection, it was revealed that the dog wasn't frozen in fear, but was actually literally frozen. So the dog's savior carefully detached all 4 of its paws from the ice platform. The team were then able to drag the freezing animal to the safety of the deck. As the video of the rescue shows, once the dog was returned to shore, it was enthusiastically greeted by 3 huskies who seemed delighted to welcome their seafaring friend back to dry land. The footage ends with the pack of dogs trotting off into the distance together. It's not known what happened to the dog after that. However, there have been no reports of floating dogs in Okhotsk Sea since, so it seems the canine learned from his frozen voyage. As for the brave fishermen, it seems they've also managed to avoid the limelight. However, such an incredible story was too good not to share. The video of the rescue was posted to YouTube and quickly went viral around the world. The footage has since been watched thousands of times online. Many people had high praise for the selfless fisherman who risked his life to save the pup. "What a hero," wrote one YouTube commenter. They added, "Thank you for saving that dog." Meanwhile, another viewer said that the video had restored their faith in humanity. Well, it would have been easy to simply sail on by that desperate doggy that day. Those selfless fishermen decided to bag their best catch ever and save an animal's life. The kind men battled through freezing conditions to save a creature in need and melted the hearts of everyone in the process. I hope you liked this video. If so, please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to make sure you never miss a video from our channel.